And we'll get started in a moment. If you don't know what it is you've tuned in for, someone said, just check this out. You are in for a treat because you're really going to get to see the power of EforAll across the country. And it's going to be such a neat opportunity for us all to experience what's going on in all of the different pockets of our communities. So I have 2 minutes after 11. So I am going to get us started. I know a lot of people will join us later. Again, my name is Deborah Gallant. I am the EforAll Executive Director in Berkshire County. And like, if people are like, what is EforAll? Let me just give you the quick overview. Entrepreneurship for All is a nonprofit organization that partners with communities nationwide to help under-resourced individuals successfully start and grow their businesses through intensive business training, mentorship, and an extended professional support network. We have programs in English and in Spanish, and we are in 8 communities. All of them are in Massachusetts, except for our outlier in Longmont, Colorado, which just finished their first accelerator. So these COVID coping webinars are something that I created. Actually, this is week 6 of the series. Feels like forever, because I felt like we all needed to stay in touch and support each other to get through all of this. So we've done different topics every week on pivoting, on sales and marketing, on what will a post-COVID world look like, all of these different topics. And today is by far my favorite because I reached out to the other executive directors and I said, I want you to find me somebody who's gone through your EforAll program, who has pivoted, who has made it work during this craziness. And so they identified all of you. Actually, I had probably another half a dozen, which this is good news. They're too busy to join us because they're too successful. In fact, food businesses, they said 11 o'clock. If we're doing a lunch business, we're absolutely not available. But this group of people, we were able to commit to giving us this hour, and we so appreciate your time. I'm going to give you just a ooch more background before we get in. I'm also sort of looking for Kelly. Casey O'Donnell is our EforAll Berkshire County Program Manager and is helping me administrate this. Any idea if we have Kelly on the line, Casey?
Kelly will be here in 1 minute. We're just having a little bit of a technical issue.
She's having a technical issue. Okay. So the thing that I just want to make sure everyone knows is EforAll's core program is a business accelerator. It's 12 intensive weeks of classes and mentorship, and then it goes to once a month. Different people who you're going to hear from today are at different stages. Kesiah from Lowell, I think 2017, 2018, I'm not sure. She'll tell you her story. But Erin, for instance, just finished her program with us, and so did Lorne and Stephanie. So different people are at different points in their entrepreneurship journey, but we're so glad that all of you are here to share your stories with us. And we'll just tell that people who are joining us, and more are joining us every moment, that there are still pitch contests and there's still business accelerators in all of our communities, even if we're virtual. And we know it's not quite as good if you have to do it like this, but the core business education and connection and support is still there for you. So Casey, what's our thinking on Kelly? Oh, there she is. All right. So she's just joining us now. What we try to do is have a little bit of a moment of silence and grounding and getting ready to dive in. And I'm very self-aware. That's not who I am. But we have Kelly, and we actually have Ayanna on the South Coast, who are wonderful, have a much better training than I do on things like yoga and wellness. And we're just going to take a moment. So Kelly, take it away for a little bit of a centering exercise, and then we're going to get right into it.
First, good morning to everyone. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? Great. I apologize for the late entry. Casey and I were trying to get me into the right window, and here I am. And that's a great way to remember how to, even in a very stressful last-minute moment of being late, to still know that we can center and ground. So Deborah, thank you for your patience. All of you panelists, it's going to be a really interesting and good interactive time. Let's just take a moment, and if you feel comfortable with it, to just close your eyes gently. If you feel more comfortable just having a gentle open, but not an alert opened eye. But if not, close your eyes and take a deep, deep breath in. And as you let the breath just naturally release from your body, just find yourself kind of settling into where you're seated or standing. Take another deep breath in. And let your exhale naturally flow out. And again, find yourself centering just a little more deeply into where you are right now. As you let your breath naturally flow in and out, notice if you have any tension in your face, maybe between your eyes, maybe in your shoulders. If that's the case, take a breath to just lift the shoulders up and back and around. Let them settle down. And again, settle into where you are in this very moment. Let your eyelids relax. Your jaw relax. And just notice your breath for about the next 2 breaths in and out on your own. The cool air comes in and the warm air comes out. Your chest opens, and breath releases any kind of tension you might have had as you started this morning. Finally, on a big inhale in, let's wake ourselves back up and come present. Open our eyes and just be present for the moment. Yeah, a little arm stretch is always good, and shoulder release. Let's get ready to learn some good stuff. Thank you all for being here and having me. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I always feel like these are such good grounding moments before these meetings. And I was so glad when my EforAll colleague said, before you let Deborah take this train and run away with it, get everybody centered and together. So I think this is terrific. All right, so here's the format of what we're going to do. I'm going to introduce each one in turn. You get your 3 or 4 minutes. We love questions and we will try to get to them. I have some of my own, but I want to give everyone 3 or 4 minutes, just tell their story, who they are, what their business is, and how they've pivoted. So I'm going to call them one at a time. I'm going to start with, sorry guys, my favorite, Erin Laundrie, because she's in from my cohort, Bottomless Bricks. She's from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Her business has a storefront in Adams, which is another Berkshire County community, but I'll let her tell her story. Go ahead, Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin Laundrie. Back in October, my husband Shane and I opened up Bottomless Bricks in Adams, Mass, which is Berkshire County in the northern section. Bottomless Bricks is a Lego brick themed birthday party venue and play space where kids of all abilities can unplug and develop their social connections, their imagination, and focus in a welcoming and non-judgmental space. So we're basically a social place. We have events every week, whether it's minifigure trading night, which are the little Lego guys, Lego club events. We have an adult event that we call Brick and Brew once a month. And everything kind of came to a screeching halt mid-March. March 13th, schools were canceled, and I went to my store Saturday the 14th, and I looked at the empty store, not knowing if our birthday parties were even going to show up that weekend, and tried to figure out how we were going to move forward. I looked on Facebook to see what some other businesses were doing, and I saw businesses that had never offered delivery or takeout before were doing it. So I thought, how can we do this? So our business primarily uses pre-owned Lego. So we have like a bin with 100 pounds of just loose bricks that kids build with that we clean regularly. And since no one was going to be coming in and using them, I had the idea to bag them up, take them home and clean them, bag them up into 1 pound bags and deliver them to people. So we did a 1 pound bag, a brand new mystery minifigure we'd throw in there, and I offered it for $20 delivered, including tax, to people's homes. And I started doing that on the 14th, and I did it for about 2.5 weeks, and it took off. It made up for all of our lost revenue, all of our canceled parties for the month of March. It's fantastic. Since then, we also, in the background at our home, we have a little Lego warehouse. So we have a Bricklink store online, which is the world's largest online marketplace for Lego, sort of like eBay, except with set prices. And we've actually just had our best month in our online store there. But really just doing the deliveries and reaching out to parents, because I knew everyone was kind of having that panic moment of what am I going to do with my kids now that the school's been canceled. But also at the same time, I opened up a Pinterest account for the business to kind of upload several ideas of how you can use Lego bricks in educational ways. And been just trying to stay engaged with our customers. And we've been having a little bit of debate as to whether we're allowed to deliver as a non-essential business, but we are going to be delivering again starting on the 1st of May. And we've had a lot of people reaching out to us and expressing interest.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Erin, for sharing your story. If I was going to say there were takeaways from it, I would say delivery and e-commerce were your biggest pivots, and understanding how to use your products during this crisis, which are wonderful. Okay, Erin can mute herself, and Ayanna, you are up next. Ayanna Parrent from Be Free Coaching and Wellness is part of our Cape Cod EforAll community. Ayanna, can you just remind us, when did you go through EforAll?
About a year and a half ago.
Okay, go ahead, you're on.
All right, so my name is Ayanna Parrent. I'm the owner and founder of Be Free Coaching and Wellness. And our mission is to help change people's lives through movement, mindfulness, and fun. So before the COVID stuff, I have a studio in Harrisburg that I just opened in June, so I'm a brand new business. The Be Free coaching model has been around for about 3 years, but I didn't have sort of like a space moving all around. So the EforAll program actually sort of helped me to solidify that was certainly the way to go, and that was totally possible. So we had a full studio. I was up and running at a great schedule, about 15 people class. I do a lot of the wellness classes are Zumba, Pound. I teach yoga. I teach an individual coaching model to people to help release difficult emotions to the body, particularly dealing with stress, trauma, past trauma. I work a lot with domestic violence folks, PTSD folks. And so it was pretty robust right when this all went down. So that was that was kind of a hit. But so we had to get super creative. And so our pivot was to then shift everything online. And which was not, it was certainly out of my comfort zone because the energy of people I really love to be around, which is why I opened the studio in the first place. But we certainly opened up, we did like happy hours and check-ins and did all the classes online. I moved to a model which just allowed people to access it for $5. So every class was $5, but then did sort of like a campaign in terms of, please donate to our cause. This is how it's going to keep the studio open. This is how it's going to help people in the future. So that model actually has worked really well. You wouldn't think that $5 per class would sustain you as a revenue, but it helped people to engage, which is part of our mission, and help people to feel like they were part of a community. So, we had a lot of people on the class, and you get people from everywhere. So I've now, created networks and people from all over the place that I wouldn't have otherwise. So
Ayanna, let me just clarify. So you offer the class for free, but you ask them to donate $5. Sort of, it's voluntary.
So the class $5. So when they register, they pay the $5, and then they get the link to the Zoom class. And then we say, on every class, obviously $5 is not going to sustain our business. And then we talk about the mission and all that kind of stuff. So then after that, it's sort of, there's a thing on the website that describes where the money's going to go if you donate a certain amount and that kind of thing.
Great. Anything else you want to add about your pivot?
No, one thing that I just did come up with is, so I have an event every year, which is a big fundraiser in October, and it most likely will happen, but I'm still on the fence about it. And so now I'd be getting sponsors for that event. And so I just had a meeting with community folks about what some thoughts were around that. And we came up with couple great ideas, which are going forward, which is, doing like a virtual 5K to keep people moving, to donate in that way, to have people sponsor each other to take classes, sponsor a group of people with trauma or dealing with this, or healthcare workers to take classes for a certain amount. So that is something new that just came up recently that we're moving forward, which I think is just a great idea. So that's a new thing I'm working on.
Fantastic. I know that there's a yoga studio here in Pittsfield, Radiance Yoga, who created subscription model, but then she also added on-demand classes. And I think it's an interesting model for people who have studios like that. So thank you for sharing your story.
Sure.
Lynda Johnson, you told me your story about your natural nail studio. So you're also from our Cape Cod group. Tell me when you did EforAll, about your former pre-COVID business and what you're doing now. Lynda?
Hi. So I completed EforAll on the Cape in February 2019, so not long ago. While I was in EforAll, I was already pursuing my business, which was a natural nail studio here on the Cape. I opened last June, and it was a unique nail studio in that I only worked with natural nails and used products that were toxin-free and healthy for the nails. So it was considered really the only clean beauty nail salon in the area. So that was my niche. It was a lovely little studio, and it was growing. It was thriving. And my book was filling by the week, and things looked really good for the coming summer. And then COVID started making its way towards us, and I started becoming concerned, as everybody else was. But working with the nail clients, you're sitting 3 inches away from your clients and you're holding their hands. So I started to realize that that was not going to be a possibility. And I ended up closing my doors. My lease was coming up for renewal, and the timing worked out such that I moved out of the space and brought it here home to my sewing room, and tried to figure out what I might do next. And I was looking on Facebook and seeing what everyone else was doing, and people were getting really creative. And I thought, well, how can I get really creative and work with people's nails when I can't hold their hands and be face to face with them? And I, by happenstance, came across this wonderful product that is a nail polish, but it goes on dry. It looks like this. It's called Color Street, and they are nail polish strips. And they go on like stickers. They're not actually stickers. That's my dog, Luna. Sorry about that. So they are a base coat, a polish coat, and a top coat. They go on like stickers. They go on dry. So you can do them yourself at home. You don't need to have any special skills or any special tool. There's no smudge, there's no dry time, and they're vegan, they're cruelty-free, and they're ate-free. So it was very much in line with my philosophy for having a clean beauty model. And they're made here in the USA, and I was so thrilled to have found them. I became a stylist for the company, and it's just taken off since then. I have met so many amazing people through this, growing my team, and I'm having such fun exploring all the different things that you can do with these. Yeah, they're a little bit crazy. It's because I've been doing a lot of live demos showing different colors, how they go on and so easily, and how they come off with regular nail polish. So I'm having a ton of fun, and it's all good. I'm feeling really good about it. In a good place.
Lynda, your pivot was from offering one-on-one in-person personal services to being a distributor and promoter of a product that's a self-adhesed nail product that you believe in. Is that right?
Very much so. Yeah, I went from a face-to-face brick and mortar to an online e-commerce situation, which I had no idea would ever be a possibility, but I'm really glad I found it.
Can people only buy it through distributors, or could I buy it from the manufacturer themselves?
You would buy it through a stylist. Yeah.
So that's how you're making money. Well, good for you, Lynda, and thank you. I know that your time was iffy, and we were really glad you're here. I love all of these different stories. Thank you, Lynda. Now we have for something completely different, we're going to go to Kesiah at OffBeet Compost to hear about, now she's with our EforAll Lowell-Lawrence. Now, Kesiah, tell me when you went through it.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, so OffBeet Compost, we went through the summer of 2017, and we are based in Lowell and the Merrimack Valley region. We collect household, restaurant, and business food scraps and are diverting it from going to landfills and incinerators, and instead are bringing it to local farms and composting and waste to energy facilities where it can be turned into a nutrient-rich material known as compost for plants to grow and thrive. So we've been around for about 3 years now, and we were growing strong. We had reached about 600 customers. We're working with a number of local restaurants in the area. And we'd grown so quickly on the hauling side that we had stopped doing the composting ourselves, and we're bringing it to other facilities around. But we're right at that point where we were able to expand our office space, and we're about to start up a really cool educational composting site right in the back of our office when COVID-19 hit. And so we, as a hauler, we're considered an essential business, and at the same time, we're really tuned into national conversations around community composting. And there were so many questions. The way we collect food scraps is in 64-gallon plastic carts or 5-gallon buckets that are plastic. And there were a lot of questions around how long COVID-19 was staying on plastic. There were a lot of questions around, well, if we're taking people's food waste where people's mouths were on it, is that going to break down in a composting facility? So let's all be really safe right now and put this on pause until we can figure out if we're going to be able to do this safely. So we decided also to pause for 2 weeks to be sure that nobody on our team was infected, so we wouldn't be spreading that. And as you all know, day to day, there was new news developing around COVID-19. So then we realized at the end of our 2 weeks that we couldn't responsibly open and continue providing service the way that we were doing it. So instead, we were able to open up remote food scrap drop-off locations in different towns throughout the Merrimack Valley region. And so people, rather than us going from house to house and touching multiple buckets, lots of different people's food waste, we have centralized locations where people can go. There's just one touch point, which is a lid that they have to open, and then they dump their own bucket of food scraps into that container. And we created sanitizing stations there so that people can spray it before they open the container. They can spray it after to make sure that we're being as safe as possible. And so that program, with that, the majority of our customers have remained supportive and a part of the program. It's been tricky with businesses because a lot of them are working from home now. A lot of restaurants are either not open or they're not generating as much food waste. But this has given us the opportunity, to reach out to more towns and install these remote drop-off stations. So even when we shift back to household collections, we're in towns with another option for people to use. We're working with some of the departments of public works. So it's possible on June 1st, for example, the town of Haverhill might pay us directly to make a town-wide food scrap drop-off program, which would make our business accessible to an entire town, which is really exciting. It's given us the opportunity to not drive everywhere. And so even though we've reduced our revenue, we're also reducing our costs because we're not on the road all the time filling up tanks. We're not, our vehicles are not breaking down all the And it's given us the time to, we still have a lot of compost from when we were doing it. So it's given us the opportunity to sift a lot of compost, which we're actually going to be returning to customers this week and next week. And then mid-May, we are reopening for household collection. And people, again, are on board with that. And I think some people are going to remain with the drop-off program. So it's sort of, we've been able to create a more robust drop-off, and still we'll be able to pivot back to our old style of service.
That's fantastic. So I know that one of the questions I'm going to ask later is, do you think that this is going to permanently change how you do business? And I'm hearing you say already, yes.
Yes, I believe so. I think, you know, we'll always have household collections, but we also now have this template that we can push, a template proposal that we can push out to different towns, saying, look at this drop-off program that we have that could work for you, and look how successful it's been in the towns of North Andover, of Haverhill, of Lawrence. So we're going to continue expanding out that program. And
Fantastic. Okay, I have a pair next. My Holyoke Plush Beauty ladies, Rosa and Nedy. You can both unmute, figure out how to tell your story together. So we are delighted that you joined us from EforAll Holyoke. And tell me, did you go through the EforAll Accelerator?
Actually, we are mentors of the program, both of us.
Great.
We've both done. I've been a mentor of the program now for about 4 years.
Fantastic. Okay, we're ready to hear your story. Tell us.
I'm gonna let Nedy take the lead.
Oh, how did I know? So we are, I'm Nedy. Nedy Gomez is my business partner, Rosa Pantoja. Our business is based out of Holyoke, Massachusetts, Plush Beauty Studio. We opened in November of 2018. So we've roughly been at our storefront for about 1.5 years now. And so our mission is empowering women one face at a time. We work in the beauty industry, but we're really big on collaborating with other businesses in the industry. And we really like to reach out to them, establish, you know, a lot of camaraderie amongst our colleagues. So that's been very helpful in actually the pivoting our business, because we've reached out to our colleagues in the industry and kind of talked about, you know, different ways that they're staying relevant, different ways that they're staying connected with their client. We are a service-based business. So obviously, if we don't work on services, we don't generate income. So we've had to get really creative around how to remain connected and, you know, how to provide that one-on-one experience. One of the shifts that we've had to make is we're now doing online Zoom calls with our clients. So we've developed facial kits for them. Facials is one of the services that we provide. And so a way that we've shifted is we've now made facial kits for them, and it comes along with an online step-by-step tutorial. So we are generating income from the transaction of the facial kit, but we are also providing them with that one-on-one experience so that they're able to see us. You know, we're able to talk, you know, just stay connected.
Stay connected.
Yeah, and also, you know, stay relevant too. We want them to know that we are still here. And let me just say, beauty is essential.
Very essential.
With the way our clients are hitting us up, which is a good thing. But yeah, we really just had to shift, try to get innovative, get creative. Yes, we have been selling a lot of retail products, but again, that's just transactional and a way to generate income. Mainly, we've been concentrating on staying connected with our colleagues and with our clients, being intentional with our use of social media, letting them know, you know, hey, when you come back, these are the services, these are the discounts, these are the sales that we're going to be running, keeping them excited about, you know, the business, and kind of staying, you know, relevant on their timelines, because everybody's on social media right now. I don't know one person that's not on their phone throughout the day. So really being intentional about the use of our time.
And also giving makeup classes online.
Yes, online makeup. We're doing everything online.
Everything we offer is online now.
And I think our colleague Tessa was shown on Facebook wearing a mask or some product that you sent her. So she's your testimonial.
Exactly. And our clients are our biggest, they're our walking billboards, because when they're on social media and they're tagging Plush Beauty Studio, then that's using the Facebook algorithm and having us populate on other people's timelines is allowing us to connect to others that maybe we might not have been able to. So our clients, you know, asking them, hey, if you post a selfie, can you please tag us, give us a review on Google, all those types of ways that they can support us without even giving us money.
So true.
So if I'm going to pull a lesson from this, you guys aren't making what you made when you were doing in-person services, because you just can't. You're selling some product. You're trying to stay relevant to your customers so that when there's an after and they can come back in, that you're still their people.
Right.
All right, good. Great story. Thank you for sharing, ladies.
Thank
All right,
you.
now we're going to the other coast, and we're going to start with, these are our Colorado EforAll entrepreneurs. Stephanie, you're up first. Tell us about Crummies, Meatless, Crumble, what you were doing before, and how you've pivoted.
All right, thank you. I am Stephanie Baudhein with Crummies, Meatless, Crumble. Crummies is a plant-based meat alternative product that behaves like ground meat in any recipe, but all of our 7 simple ingredients come from the land and not the lab. So we started kind of developing this product back in 2017 when I went plant-based. And we got into the farmer's market season almost a year ago. So we kind of hit it right when it was getting busy last year. Had a really great market season, really good feedback. Got into EforAll and was actually able to get into 3 grocery stores because of our actions there. And so when COVID hit, we decided that farmers markets, although they were considered an essential business, the whole groups gathering in large amounts isn't necessarily safe at the moment. And kind of considering how long that's going to take to become safe again. So we opened up an online ordering platform and front porch delivery to, you know, keep the social contact to a minimum. That's been open for about a month, and it's been pretty successful. Our customers know where to find us, and they were excited to have that option. I have about 70 farmers markets still planning on happening in person, but there's also some virtual farmers markets that have popped up in the Fort Collins area. So I am in 2 of those currently, and a 3rd one should be opening up here in a few weeks, where, you know, 7,000 people can shop on a virtual platform through a bunch of local vendors, and then they get it delivered to their house once a week. So it was a great option to have for us, and we're optimistic that we may have some in-person markets, because we do really miss connecting with our clients that way.
Well,
But,
and Stephanie, I'm just going to interrupt you for a second,
yeah.
but my understanding about how a new food product gets out there is all about sampling. And so
Yes.
it must be hard to get an order from someone who's never tasted this, so that you can sell to people who already know about you, but it's hard to get a new customer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I like the mention of social media, because we're also trying to take that route and really have a presence there, and try and be, you know, as descriptive as we can with our pictures and our, you know, recipe ideas, to kind of give folks an idea of what we're all about. Yeah. But it has been, I'm actually pretty sure sampling will be out this whole farmers market season, as well as my grocery store demos, which have also been postponed, we'll say. So
yeah, no, that's difficult, but you seem very optimistic, and
yes.
we're delighted to hear your story. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Okay, Lorne, you are our cleanup hitter. Is that what they call it in baseball? Tell us about mini money management, what before looked like and what now looks like.
Absolutely. So my name is Lorne Jenkins, and I'm the co-founder of Mini Money Management. And we're an educational app that helps parents and teachers educate their kids about the importance of financial literacy, while also working with a little bit of behavior management. So it actually started from a game that my mom played with me, and she gave us a salary every week. We had to pay for rent, we had to pay for transportation, utilities, and we asked her to go out to eat every week. And so her big thing was that it was $3 to go out to eat and then $1 to stay in. And so her big claim to fame is that by the time we got to the end of the summer, she asked us if we wanted to go out to eat, and we said no, that was too expensive. And so you couple that with the fact that the saying for the summer was "give me $1," because we would fight, we wouldn't clean our rooms, and instead of yelling or grounding us, she would just say, you know what, that's a fine, give me $1. And as a kid, when you spend either $2 to watch TV for half an hour, or you can, you know, pay your money because you didn't clean your room, Well, now you're weighing your decision choices or your decision making. And so we essentially took the game that my mom played and we turned it into an app. So now parents have a dashboard where they can give their kids loans, their kids can buy things from a shop, they can do just normal bonuses and fines. We have like an automatic salary going to the kids' account, and then we give the kids an account themselves. So they have a checking account, a savings account. This is all fake money. And then they can say, so like they can go into the shop and say, hey, I want to go swimming this week. Well, let me buy a swimming pass. So it really is just getting kids familiar with how money works, but then also something that actually means something to them. So telling a 10-year-old that you're going to make $80,000 one year doesn't make sense to them. But when you tell an 8-year-old, okay, you can either go swimming or you can spend your money on candy. Well, now they're making those decision choices. So our initial goal was to go into schools because teachers have 20, 25, 30 different kids in a classroom. Behavior management is huge for them, and they also like to teach, real world application skills. And so we had pilot sites because we started this back in August of 2019. And so we had some pilot sites going. We're working with some teachers. We finally got the app to a place where we were comfortable to push it out. And that was the same week that Corona hit. So all the kids got sent home from school, which was, lovely. But what we ended up doing is that obviously the kids had to go somewhere and they went home. And now you have parents who are like, what do I do with these kids? I need to teach them something. I want them to be active. I want to have them be engaged, but I don't actually know what to do with them. So we took about 2.5 or 3 weeks and we reworked the technology that we had and then made it so that there's a home edition now. So parents can play the same game that my mom played with me, and they have a little bit of time to get more familiar with the app. So yeah, we're offering a 30-day free trial for parents to kind of just test it out and get some feedback. I think we officially released it 2.5 weeks ago. We've got close to 50 users. We've got an influx of teachers as well. So I think we're close to 35 or 40 teachers. And really just kind of so we're hosting webinars now, just telling people like, hey, this is what a household economy looks like. Here's how you use it and here's how you get it set up. So we went from being in schools to trying to be in homes now.
So you really sort of changed your customer marketplace based on what was available to you. But I actually think, if anything, there's more of a need than ever before, because what are all these parents doing with their kids at home? Good for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. These are such inspiring stories and really, I think, go to the heart of EforAll, which is you guys have figured out what the customer need is, how your product fits it, and figured out how to stay connected to them. That's what EforAll is all about. So good for you. Let me ask this first question that's my question. There's so much buzz about getting in on these federal government relief programs. Can you raise your hand if you actually applied for or got a PPP or an EIDL? I don't know if any of you qualified. Oh, a few of you did. Ayanna, can you tell me what happened with you guys? Did you get it?
So I missed the SBA deadline, so I didn't do that, but I did the PP one's still in. We applied, so they're still.
You haven't heard yet. So you're in the second wave. You might get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nedy, what about you guys? Did you get a loan?
We applied for the PPP and the $10,000 grant that they had out, but we still have not. We applied right when it first came out. Didn't get accepted the first time around, but now we're on the second round of money trying to get accepted. Hopefully we will.
So did you actually get rejected, or you never heard, or they ran out of money?
Never heard anything back. I just heard on the news that it was, me and Nedy heard on the news that it ran out of money.
Mm-hmm. Kesiah, did you get some cash?
We have not gotten any cash, but we have applied to PPP, EIDL. There was a local Massachusetts one called LISC, but I think the deadline passed. And then we've applied to a few grants too. There's one called Business for All, and it's rolling application, so that might be good for people to look into. And it's up to $10,000 to $25,000, and it's a grant. It's not a loan, so we're waiting to hear back from them too.
Erin, did you also apply?
I did. I contacted our our bank when PPP came out, and they said we don't qualify for that because we're so new, we didn't have any employees or payroll, and we still weren't paying ourselves. But I did apply for the SBA, the EIDL loan, and I guess we're in the queue, waiting for the money to be available and to have it processed. So we're hopeful, because just the $10,000 would be the make or break for us. It really would.
Yeah, well, the thing is that I don't think any of us wants to just sit around and wait for the government to bail us out. We'd rather figure out ways to stay healthy and thrive and meet our customer needs like all of you have with your pivots. I have some very specific questions that have come up. Ayanna, did you create a website or feature for your website to register and pay for online classes? How did you do it? With what platform?
Oh, good question. So I already had that set up through just an app called Acuity. So it's similar to like Mind Body, like that yoga studios use. So I already had that set up already. And so what I did is that when this whole thing came out, they actually, they have a way where you can integrate Zoom. So that was super easy. So when you register for a class, in the registration confirmation, it just has the Zoom link and then details about the class. So it was actually super easy.
So Acuity software, was that the name of it?
Acuity scheduling.
Scheduling, okay. Yep. So you've all gotten a tip there. Lynda, a question for you. Will you reopen your studio when that's possible? Oh, you need to unmute yourself.
And I missed the question. Sorry, you glitched out.
That's okay. Will you reopen your nail studio when that's possible?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not in a hurry to actually work with anyone's nails in person until I'm certain that it's safe to do so. So I don't know. I'm having so much fun with this. I might just stick with this.
Okay.
But I'm still a licensed. I always, fall back on that.
Yeah. Erin, let me ask you, I know that one of the concerns and the thing that I think Lynda just alluded to is who knows what it's going to be like to what after is going to look like. Do you feel like even, let's say May 18th is the day Charlie Baker in Massachusetts said we can do business again. You don't expect to have people booking birthday parties the weekend after that. I mean, who's going to want to be the first one to do that? How do you think about that?
We are trying to plan how we're going to kind of reopen and our marketing for that. Unfortunately, we have time. But quite honestly, the problem we have is our storefront is so small. It's 12 feet wide by 40 feet long. So with a 6 foot apart social distancing thing, it's just not going to work at our store. So even if we can reopen, we still can't we can't have birthday parties, and we can't have Lego club, and we can't have minifigure trading night. So we know it's not going to be right away. And then the second part of that is how to ease people's fears once this does calm down and let them know that it is safe again to start having kids all get together in large groups and to be able to have fun. And unfortunately, we've always really focused on the cleanliness aspect of our business and that we clean and rotate our bricks regularly. But this is a whole other level. It's going to take a lot of reassuring parents, because if there's one thing we're protective of, it's our kids.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I told you all I was going to sort of come up and ask, and Lorne, I want to start with you, is do you think this is going to change the trajectory of your business permanently? Do you think you'll always now be selling to parents, or is schools going to be back where you go when school is back?
So I think it's more of an education question than anything. So, I mean, kids aren't going anywhere. Kids are always going to need to learn about money. I think the routes that we take to teach them about money may change, because there's a lot of schools who are looking that they financially can't open back up after this. So I think that people are going to have to get very, very creative with how they educate kids. And the fact that we're an app and can be relatively easy to change and customizable will help us out a lot. So wherever education goes and wherever kids go, we'll just be right behind them with a little bit of fake money. So.
Okay. Kesiah, I'm going to ask you to expand on the other opportunity you mentioned on our practice call on Monday for you guys to maybe use your vans in a different way than you were using them. Do you feel comfortable talking about that? You said it was a little bit in the idea stage.
Yeah, I don't know if we're actually going to do that, but we were in the past working at a farmer's market, so people could come to us and drop off, and it was a really good way for us to engage with our customer base and also make our program more accessible to people because they could come and drop off directly. And at that time, we formed a lot of relationships with local farmers and growers and honey makers and jam makers, and they're all struggling like we are to get their product out there. And we have a fleet of vehicles that's on the road, and we've got customers who are going to grocery stores but don't necessarily feel comfortable going there. So we've had a lot of conversations around potentially doing a delivery program. It's so hard to say. Like, we're trying to roll out, you know, household collections again and make sure our team is safe. So it's not off the table, and we've like we did a survey to customers, and they're really excited and interested about it. Some of the vendors are really excited and interested about it. So it's possible. It's not 100% though.
I want to ask Rosa and Nedy, have you guys thought about what you're going to have to do in terms of precautions when you do have a client who walks back in and lies on the bed? Or is it masks? Is it gloves? Is it sanitizing between each client? You guys must have thought about this, right?
Well, luckily we already do that prior to the whole COVID-19. We sanitize in between every client, ourselves wear masks and gloves for every service. We never had clients have to wear masks and gloves, but I think at this point, if we reopen, that might be a requirement if they're just coming in for their eyebrows, that they wear a mask and a glove. We do have separation in between the beds. So luckily we don't have a huge staff. There's only 5 of us, so we can sort of work our schedule around each other to where there's only like 4 people in the building at once. And so we can sort of keep distance between ourselves, but we can't keep distance from our clients because we're working like literally hovering over them. So we will wear masks, gloves, and continue to do all the same safe practices that we've always done with the cleaning in between clients and sanitizing the beds and changing all the sheets and everything.
I think that one of the things that you see at some of these places that are considered essential and have stayed open are, taking people's temperatures 4 times a day and all the rest of this. I think it's going to be a new world that none of us can imagine what that's going to look like later. Stephanie, I want to ask you a question, because I think this food sampling thing is really important. Have you thought about, and can you offer a money back guarantee so that people know that they're sampling it, but there's really no risk to them, because if they don't like it, they don't have to pay for it and you can refund them? I mean, have you thought about some other way to get people to make that first purchase if they can't taste it?
That's actually really interesting. I hadn't thought about that option. What I try to do is equip them kind of with the confidence and knowledge that they can, we designed it and our recipe was kind of created so it was really simple and easy to use. It kind of had to be in our household. So transferring that to the client and letting them know, like, you're not going to mess this up. You're going to make it delicious. Don't worry about it. But I will think a little bit more about that money back option. That's a really interesting pivot there.
My understanding, because I was a business coach, I still am, I can't help it, before I became the executive director at EforAll, is that the number of people who actually ask for their money back is slim to none.
Right.
But knowing that they can get it back gives people the confidence to make a purchase if they've never tried something before. So it might be something that you could try.
Absolutely. Yeah, we always try and be, open and just contact us if you have any questions or concerns, in that light. But, yeah.
Casey, I saw one person had their hand raised. Do you want to unmute them and let them ask their question themselves? And we're welcome. We have a few more minutes so we can ask other questions too. I think Casey has to manage that raising hand thing.
That person no longer has their hand raised. If they want to press the button again, I'll be able to select them.
Okay. Also, I want to encourage the panelists to ask each other questions. I don't know if you guys are seeing all of this chat, but Ayanna was complimenting Lorne's mother on her her approach. And, I think the other parents and they're going, yeah, that makes sense. That I think it's too late for the 23-year-old who lives in my house. Okay, I guess the person with the question didn't want to ask it. So Sorry.
Can I just make one comment? Is that okay?
Please.
Just two things. One about reopening, and the another was about banks and money. So I know that I just received a $1,000 gift from Rockland Trust just through social media thing that they were doing. So that's just like a tip to everybody to kind of, lots of banks are supporting small businesses by, you know, sort of promoting themselves, but also promoting the community and promoting their mission. So they just did like I don't know if it's a one-time thing or whatever. It was like, you know, everyone post your favorite small business on Cape Cod and that's doing something good for the community. And I, you know, got all my people to vote or make a comment about Be Free. And so I ended up getting the money. So that's just one tip. So, I mean, I think there's lots of other small businesses that are doing similar things. So just kind of like keep your eye out and do little research because I think it's there. And then the other thing was just about, I think wellness businesses, I don't know who asked me the question before, but I think we're kind of in a tough position because I was thinking about reopening and then my original thought was like, oh yeah, like I'll totally have everyone back in the studio by like July, August. But in Falmouth right now, they're sort of saying that they're closing. Falmouth is a town in Cape Cod. People in any type of event that are 10 or more until August 31st. So that would kind of count the studio out for you know, the summer. So I may have to pivot a lot of this. So who knew I was a, you know, YouTuber? I am now, but you know, that I now have I have like a Monday motivational series that I have that is like I'm interviewing people from all over the place that I never would have done before. So I think just for wellness folks out there that we have to sort of certainly get creative just about creating community and allowing people to feel like they're still connected. Because I don't know when I'll be able to be back in the studio. Just I think contact and sweating and all that kind of stuff is like people are super afraid of it right now. And I don't know when we're gonna get out of that. So just maybe thinking a little bit more long term than just, I was thinking like the summer, oh, I'll be big, and I'm not so sure that's gonna be the case.
Lorne?
Yeah, so this is kind of a question for everybody as well. So for me, it's kind of been like, I have to wait for teachers and parents to kind of tell me what they need. So like, how are you guys kind of balancing out either giving people ideas that they wouldn't have had before, but then also kind of waiting to see what people need? Because I think we're kind of stopped going 1,000 miles an hour and say, okay, like we still need to eat, we still need to teach kids, we still need to get our nails and hair done. So how much of it is like you guys offering new services, and then how much of it is actually you guys waiting for people to say like, okay, this is what we need?
And I think that dovetails with the question that Mindy asked about how do you find out from your customers what they need? So for instance, I started this EforAll webinar series before I had any idea whether anybody really wanted it or not, because in my gut, I felt like we all needed a connection, community, a trusted resource to get some business education from, but honestly didn't wait to find out. I just said, let me try this and see if it happened, and it turned out that it worked. But some of what we may do might fall flat. Not every idea is good, as Kesiah just said. Does she really want to get in the delivery business? Maybe that isn't a pivot that she wants. Every idea isn't always good, right? So thoughts from the other panelists? Go ahead, Lynda.
I just jumped right in. The moment I heard about an opportunity for my clients and friends to be able to remain in beautiful nails, and that it was in line with the philosophy of my brick and mortar, I just took the plunge because I felt like, how could it hurt? And it was just a little bit of a risk, and I took it knowing that the clients were going to be asking me what my recommendations were while they were at home. And so I found it and I offered it, and here we are, and growing with it. So I didn't really wait to see what they wanted. I kind of just knew what they wanted, found it, and just started offering it.
Great, thank you for sharing that.
Kesiah? Some of mine are sort of specific, but first of all, like just using social media and the different platforms to be really honest with where we're at and communicating that with customers and saying, you know, none of us are experts in this, but at the end of the day, we're trying to be as safe as possible. I think that's like, we've received a really good response from our customers because of that. And then we do have specific methods of communication. So we have an online app where we text people updates, and then we can say, hey, check the email if it's going to be a longer update. And that's a way for people to get back to us as quickly as possible. And I know I'm sure in everybody's inboxes, they're getting like email after email from every single business they've ever been with that says COVID-19 update. So to be able to communicate with them directly has been really important. And then we've used Google Forms to actually do specific surveys. So with the delivery program, we got a huge response from that, and it's cool because it gives you the metrics of how many people are actually interested and how much people are willing to pay for it. So
that's great. I'm actually gonna take what you just said, and Nedy, I'll go to you next. Next week's webinar is about staying engaged with your customers, because I don't know about you, every single email I get is like, we understand. Actually, I'm tired of the TV commercials too. I mean, like, really, a car company, we understood. It's like, get over yourself. But how do we be authentic and genuine and stay in touch with our customers and cut through the noise? I think it's a really important topic. So next Wednesday at 11, we'll be talking about that. Nedy, did you want to talk about figuring out what your customer needs?
Sure. If you're using an online forum, which most of us are at this time, there's ways to make interactive posts. Like you can do a poll on there, you can pose questions for them. So we've been doing that even on like your live story. I'll throw up like a lip gloss and I'll be like, who's ready to get their lips popping this summer or whatever. Just make it fun, putting different products and stuff on there. So really getting creative about that. And honestly, I feel like the clients really like it because they'll click on it yes or no, or they'll kind of pick what they like. Also, if you have a business page on Facebook, there's an auto message system. So obviously, they've clicked like on your page because they like your business, they're vested in your business. So it's different from just having them on an email where they're getting emails from any and everybody and you're kind of having to sort through. If it's through your Facebook page, it's because they've clicked like on your page. So utilizing that auto message system it's been really helpful because it's just sending all of those auto messages, whatever it is that you want to write to your clients, whatever's upcoming, kind of keeping them in the loop about things, any updates, and you can switch the auto messages to whatever your need is. So we have found that to be pretty helpful too, especially if you have a larger client base.
That's great. And I think the key was to have built up your client contact information before this happened so that you can stay in touch with them, because it's hard to do it sort of midstream. And, with Lorne just starting, how do you start building that list? That's complicated. Okay, we're actually at the end of our time. So I'm going to ask any of you, if you want to say a parting word, there's one more thing that you wanted to say, you want to give words of encouragement to the people who are watching. I'm not going to go to all of you automatically. If you want to talk, just let me know. Okay, Steph, you're first.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, but also if just an ask, if everyone could just support local, support small, because we're no telling what the lasting effects of this are going to be. So if you can, just think about that.
That's wonderful. And thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to have a parting word or comment? All right. I am going to draw this to a close because I try to keep it to an hour. Thank you to all of our EforAll entrepreneurs. You guys are amazing. We are so proud you're part of our community and that you came on to share this with everybody today. We were recorded. This will be available to watch again or share with whoever you want. We wish you all great luck, and if we can help you in any way to continue to be successful so we can tell your success stories again and again, please let us. Thank you all for coming. Hope to see you next Wednesday at 11 or at a future EforAll event. Bye-bye.